Hi everyone, this is Becky from PatchworkPosse.com as well as the Patchwork Planner Club, and today I thought I would go over which is course number 3, all about the trackers and how you can use them in your binder. So these are all about tracking your steps that you're taking, whether in a project, a quilt group, your orphan projects, or swaps and gifts. So I'll quickly go over each page really fast. These are not going to be the only ones available. There will be additional pages as we get going in the club. Every month there'll be new pages added, and hopefully you will suggest some awesome ones and we can get yours in there as well. So this one's for a quilt along. A lot of times you're in a quilt group or something and they do quilt longs together, and this one is a great way to track what the name is, how long you're going to be doing it, the finished sizes. It can be found where, so where's your pattern going to be in a magazine? Are they going to give it to you, or do you need to purchase it? Any supplies that you needed, and then the pattern is it going to be a weekly quilt along, a monthly quilt along? Is there a kit that you purchased, a monthly charge for it, your finish day, and then of course you get to check off when you complete it. Now it's broken down into 8 steps, and remember these are printable, and so you can print this multiple times if there's more than 8 steps for your quilt along. So you can write the steps down and then give it a good check mark when you've finished it. This one also is quilt group. So if I'm in a couple groups and we always have projects that we're working on, not necessarily as a quilt along or sew along, but projects that I'm working on, maybe for a donation or something I'm doing myself. So you can write the project name down and then you check mark when you're done. This is for your group name, when you meet, your dues, and if you've paid them as well. Orphan projects, those are for the projects that you seem to always hang around and you never get them done. So this one, here's your project name. Give it a time frame if you need to set yourself a deadline or due date. Dimensions. What's your next step to take? So sometimes if you write this down, it gets you going and you're not so overwhelmed. Is there any supplies that you need for that? And when are you thinking that you'd like to do it by? And whether or not it's completed, check mark yes. And this has 2 on the one page, just to give you, extra space or to kind of watch your progress as you go. Swaps tracker. This one also has 2 on the page. This can help you keep track of your swaps. I know a couple groups that do this. And in fact, the quilt group that I have, the online one at iaquilters.com, that one has a few swaps during the year as well, and you can keep track of the information there. Gifts. We always give gifts, homemade, handmade. And so we can keep track of who they're for, what project we're making, any supplies that we need, when it's due, and then whether or not it's arrived. And this one is off to the quilter, so a lot of times you forget where your quilt goes, or maybe that's just me. But anyways, so you can track where it went to, where their address is, if you have more than one quilter, what the quilt is, any thread color that you might want to use, what their price quote is, and then maybe some ideas of quilt designs and pickup. You can go ahead and mark off as well whether or not you have the binding ready, you've dropped it off, you picked it up, and you paid. And that is a quick overview of the tracking pages. Again, any of these pages can be printed multiple times. They fit in a 3-ring binder, so you can print off as many as you'd like, keep them in a quilt group binder, or a gift binder, or maybe you have a Christmas binder if you're trying to keep track of all your Christmas projects for the year. Also, some of these can be used as individuals. So if you have the quilt group, you can take these individually to your quilt group if you have a sewing day with them or something, and keep track of the projects that you're working on and your progress in them as well. So that is it for course number 3. If you have any questions, go ahead and drop it in the forum or in the Facebook group, and we would love to hear your suggestions as well for additional pages. So the next one will be course number 4, going over the journaling and labels.